Football with Farhan and Moj, brought to you by West Coast Auto Group and Chambers of Commerce Group Insurance. And let's go for two right now and dive into Cam Newton. Like, this happened fast. He comes back quick. He plays quick, played just 8 plays, scored on his first 2 plays, pronounces himself back. And guess what, Moj? He's going to start next week.
My big question is this the move that puts the Panthers in the thick of the NFC wildcard race? Think about this. Hell, they're only 1.5 games back at Tampa Bay. Next 3 games are against teams with losing records. Then you get the rust off of Cam right after those 3 games, and you get the Bills, the Bucks, the Saints, and the Bucks again. I'm just saying, they could be in the hunt when it's all said and done.
What was the spread in this game? 10 points for the Cardinals, who didn't have bunch of their top guns, so we'll see if Kyler Murray and they wind up playing this week. But, you know, he returns and he took most of the reps. He finished with, like I said, just 8 plays. He completed 3 of 4 passes, rushed 3 times for 14 touchdowns. This guy was booed by the fans in Carolina back in 2019. They're still paying his replacement, who's on the roster, or the replacement to his replacement. How does it happen so fast that within a season and a half, they booed him out of there? And now he's back, and he actually looks
because they won the football game, Farhan. It's that simple. You win and you're loved. You lose and you get booed.
His 43rd game with both a rushing and passing touchdown, which is an NFL record, and now he's going to face his former coach in Ron Rivera. That'll be interesting, just because they still maintained a pretty good relationship when it ended for him.
Who do you think has the advantage in that situation?
Ron Rivera, absolutely.
Yeah, just knowing all the tendencies and all that.
Yeah, the tendencies and the limitations and where to play him. So I think you might wind up with a motivated quarterback. You're going to wind up with a motivated quarterback because for Cam, had the chip on his shoulder having to wait this entire offseason. But it's going to be fun to watch. Meanwhile, who, in fact, are the Cleveland Browns? So this is a team, you want to talk about inconsistent. They lose to open the year, win 3 straight, lose 2 straight, win, loss, win, loss. Who are the Cleveland Browns?
The Browns are a fraudulent football team, people. Don't buy into them. Don't buy stock. You want to know why? They're inconsistent. Well, guess why they're inconsistent? Because Baker Mayfield is inconsistent. Once Baker Mayfield develops some consistency, I'll buy some stock into the Browns. They got a great running game, an unbelievable offensive line. But yet, when you look at their defense kind of flashed a little bit this year as well. But man, oh man, Baker Mayfield, just give this team some consistent quarterbacking. I know he's been banged up with injuries. I'll give you that. But they just need more consistency from that position.
Well, and then also tough situation not having Nick Chubb when you already don't have Kareem Hunt. Chubb, of course, on the COVID list. He is expected to play this week. But, yeah, he was inconsistent, hurt his knee after hurting his shoulder coming into that game. He had his left shoulder harnessed up, so not a good situation. But also not a good situation is when you look at the defensive players, including Myles Garrett, say there were no adjustments made on the sidelines of that game. And I know they've all tried to walk it back, and Kevin Stefanski's kind of tried to, sugarcoat that situation a bit, but that shows a bit of a disconnect.
It does, because clearly when you have one side pointing fingers at the other, it's not a good situation. It tells you, to me, that tells me a lot about that Cleveland team behind the scenes, that they're not all on the same page.
Rex Ryan was quoted after the game as saying that the Browns under Baker Mayfield have been outrushed by 50 yards 14 times. They're 0-14 in those games. So that's an indictment that if you don't have a run game first, you can't necessarily function. Mayfield is expected to play next week. Can Mac Jones make a late case for Rookie of the Year? We know Jamar Chase is the heavy front runner, the receiver in Cincinnati, but I'm telling you, this guy he's easily the best quarterback of the rookie class this year. He's in the best position to win, given who his coach and what his defense looks like relative to some of the other guys like Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. That said, can he make a late push if Patriots get in the playoffs?
I think he has a great chance of winning this. Love reading some of the stuff they have at Pro Football Focus. And how about this? This last game, most efficient single-game passing offense in the last decade, according to Pro Football Focus. By the way, they had a guy named Brady playing there the last decade. No rookie quarterback since 2006 has turned in higher grades than Mac Jones for the first 10 weeks. And by the way, he's the 5th highest graded quarterback in the NFL for the entire season. And over the last 6 weeks, he's been the highest graded quarterback at PFF. What's that tell you? I mean, this guy's getting the job done, and he's having an amazing season.
Meanwhile, I'm looking forward to talking to Mike Ditka because I want to ask him what his take is on just the way they're calling roughing the passer right now. And I know you got to protect your stars, but they're doing it against guys that aren't necessarily stars as well. And I guess you've got to attempt to be consistent, but some of this is ridiculous right now. I mean, you look at the play on Thursday night, Javon Holland, against Lamar Jackson. Then you've got Caden Ellis on Ryan Tannehill, which cost the Saints an interception. After that game, Sean Payton was absolutely livid.
What was the explanation on the roughing the passer play?
No explanation.
So
There wasn't an explanation. What do you want me to say?
I was just
You want my
saying-
opinion on it?
Yeah.
No opinion on it.
Okay.
Next question.
Does the league have any appetite to get this right, or are calls like that just collateral damage for the actual protection of quarterbacks and it doesn't matter?
Well, I mean, they've made it into a black and white rule. That's the big issue that they have. They have to get back to allowing the referees, the officials, to have some sort of discretion, some sort of ability to say, okay, in this instance, yeah, okay. Holland grazed his helmet. Flag, right? I mean, even if he did graze his helmet, they apparently thought that he grazed his helmet. But even if they had some discretion in that situation, but that's what NFL officials don't want happening. Referees, you talk to people, Mike Pereira, a good friend, has always talked about this. They want to make it black and white, so they take that judgment call out of the referee's hands.
But you use eye in the sky at other points in the NFL. And look, maybe the NFL can try it and walk it back if needed, because when you look at a couple of years ago, right, they decided to review pass interference after what happened in the NFC Championship involving the Saints and the Rams. They didn't like it. Okay, they got rid of it. So I think they need to do that here. I think you need to find a way to review these plays just like they review targeting in NCAA football. I think you need to find a way to do that here because there's a lot at stake. And yes, you want to protect these guys, but it's still football and it can't be that ridiculous. And we're seeing it week after week. It's affecting games. It's affecting point spreads and outcomes. So they've got to find a way to change it.